Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd. So I have these 2 dungeons ready now to go. This is a completed one, and this is what's known as a raw one. Think of a raw one as a model kit. Now before we jump into this, let's go ahead and talk about some kind of fun things. Let's go ahead and set these aside, and I'll talk about these 2 different versions in a minute. So first, I want to talk about my cool new Christmas ornament that I have made. And what's fun about this is it's actually a riddle. And I'm not going to air this till after my kids come to visit, because this riddle, see if you guys can solve what it is. And if you can solve what this riddle is, put it in the comments and we'll see who wins. But check this out. I was trying some new technology that I've been talking about. Let me turn the lights off for a second. Lights off.
Okay, done.
Where I actually use glow-in-the-dark printing material and then painted it with different colors to make the jet blast glow. And let's see how it looks. And you guys can kind of see this. Look at that. So that is pretty cool looking. And so the idea is that eventually I can use this for blast effects or torches or something else. So this is my Christmas ornament. It's made to be hung up high. And see if you guys can figure out what this is. The play on words, my ridiculous pun. My kids have to guess what it is, and I'll let you know if they figure it out when they come to visit tonight. But here it is. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into what we were doing. So it was funny last night. Hold on a second. Lights on.
Okay.
So it was funny. Yesterday my grandson visited, and we were playing, of course, He-Man figures. And Skeletor, he ended up falling apart. And he goes, oh, he comes apart. And he put him back together. And I said, hey, you forgot his belt. And he said, that's not his belt. And he kept arguing with me. And then he went and put it on his head like this and told me that's where it goes. It's a headband. And it didn't matter what I told him. You know, he's 3 years old. He knew that that's how this is made to go. And it's funny is I'll see people online selling Skeletors on eBay, and they'll do the same thing. And it's like, what? Okay, so he really thought it's supposed to go that way. He would not believe me that it was a belt. I even took it apart when he wasn't looking and put it back on Skeletor's waist. It was just funny because he is like, that's not where it goes. So anyway, let's get back to the dungeons. Stop talking about personal life. So these are the 2 dungeons. Here's the completed one. Here is the raw one. And the completed one is, if you want to get these yourself, contact me on Facebook. It is $400. And the raw one is $200. Now the raw one, you're going to have to take just like a model kit and sand it and paint it and everything else to make it work. And of course the completed one is fully complete. And you can see that it has all kinds of cool features, like the breakaway window if you want. It has the pins in there. It has the cool floor. It's already been painted and ready to go. And if you guys want, I got all kinds of videos that I've made on how to finish your dungeon. So I walk through how to blackwash it, how to do the resin coatings and everything else. You can watch all those videos so you're not just stuck high and dry. So, and then of course the skull glows in the dark. And I meant to show you that when I was showing you the flame on the back of the rocket. And then this opens up. So you can stick your figures in there, and then the points of it go right into the floor. So there we go. So real quick, I want you to see the difference between the raw and the completed, so you're not dismayed later on. You can see this one right here is kind of rough, and this one's nice and smooth. All right, let's get into the build, because I actually filmed this after I put it together. So let's go ahead and get in the build, and then I'll explain what you get in both packages. All right, well, so let's go ahead and assemble this one right here. So the customer asked to have the floor not glued on, so I'm not going to glue it on. I'm just going to push it in place. Now, if you are the guy that got this one, and when you first get it, the floor will be kind of stiff to put on, but eventually it will loosen up as time goes on. So when the first time you put it on, it's pretty tight. There we go. Ugh. And it's just jammed on there. Now as time goes on, it's going to get looser and looser, and you might want to add glue later on if you decide to. And just make sure when you put it together that the 4 slots in the front are there for that. So then this slides into place. And those points go right in there. Ta-da! And now the hard part is getting the window in. So the window is a really nice tight fit, but the customer asked that the window be a loose fit so He-Man can knock it out easy. So a couple ways to do this. One is to heat it up with a heat gun and then shove it in there. Or a second way is to actually use a Dremel tool and Dremel it down a little bit. So I'm going to use a Dremel tool because I kind of like to, the heat gun part is kind of scary because it may or may not work. And so if you're getting a loose kit, I'll include 2 windows. So that way then, if it doesn't work the first time, you can try a second time. So let's go ahead and sand this down a little bit. Alright, that might do it. You pull off any excess scruff still on there. And let's see how that window fits in there now. So close. Take off this bottom edge right here. There we go. Hooray. Hooray. Now it pops in and out with little effort, just like I was trying to do. Now personally, I like mine to be stuck in there super tight. But this is what the guy wanted, a window that would actually pop in and out so He-Man could break his way out of jail or anybody else. Then you stick it back in there. Bada bing, bada boom. Whew! We are done with that. Alright, next step is to put this top on. And this top right here, it's got the 4 pegs on it to put it in place. And once that's lined up, we're now going to put the skull on. Now, whenever I do a new castle, I always like to use a brand new bottle of super glue. I like to use the Loctite, the Ultra Control. This gives me a little bit of time to play with it to get it lined up just right. Now, there are 2 ways to do this. One way is to leave this little extra support on the chin. Another way is to pull it off. I'm going to actually pull it off. I actually think it looks better with it off. So let's go ahead and break that off there. Hopefully I don't break the skull when I take this off, because I've already painted it nicely. Hey, there we go. Got that off there. Let's see the nice paint job. Ooh, and now let's glue this on there. Oh, I forgot to break the seal on the glue. There we go. Let me grab an extra light so you guys can see better what I'm doing. Now the goal was to get it between these bars right here. So you want to line this up something like that. That way then it will look nice and cool and lined up with the whole entire dungeon. So let's go ahead and put some glue on here. Now you don't want to go too crazy on the glue because it is super glue. So just a little bit. And if you do it too close to the edges, then you won't have the opportunity to move it around much because you'll have stuff on the edges. Nor do you want to have any extra squeeze out because you don't want glue all over the place on the dungeon when it's complete. So now that we have that on there, let's go ahead and line this right up. Alright, move this camera out of the way. Sorry, I need to look at it straight on myself to line it up. And that looks pretty good. So let's just press that on there. There we go. Whew. The dungeon is complete. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the glowing feature on it. So, lights off.
Okay, done.
Alright, I got my UV light here. Let's go ahead and charge this right up. Burp, 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 burp. There it is. Oh, so cool. Alright. Lights on.
Okay, done.
Now if you want to see for sizing what this dungeon looks like, here is the size difference of an Origins figure. So you can see to use this, you just slide this top open a little bit. And the top acts as a lock for the gate. You slide the gate up, and then you can put the villains inside there. Ta-da! Then once you close the lid on top, it locks them in so they can't get out. Alright. So now let's talk about the raw one. So that was the completed finished one, and now for the raw one, here's how you get it. So the raw package, if you think of it like a model, you get the floor, you get the top grate, which is patterned after the grate for the Will of Souls. It's the same style as the Well of Souls, as you can see there. Whoop. See the same kind of stylistic. And then this kit includes 2 windows, because as you saw I had some issues trying to get the windows in, so I don't want to have somebody order a kit and then realize they messed up one of the windows and they have to get a whole new window from me. This way, 2 windows. It comes with a skull that may or may not have this piece on here still. And it comes with 5 of these little round pieces that go into this right here. So they fit into these holes. Now you may have to take and sand these a little bit and sand the hole out a little bit to make them fit just right. Then just put a little glue in there and stick them in there and they fit. Now you only need 4, but I included 5 because they can easily get well, actually, the other day I was sticking one in and it shot off, and I still haven't found the one that shot off. And then, of course, you get the cell. The cell. Now, to save on weight, I'm going to pull off some pieces ahead of time, make your life a little easy. So I'm going to pull the door off. And if something goes wrong, and I have it go wrong here on my end, then on your end, oh, you also get the gate too. And then I'll pull out the window piece, because this is a pain to get out. I don't want somebody to be at home trying to figure this out and break it accidentally. So that would really stink. There we go. Ta-da! So those pieces you won't get because you don't need them. And you know what? While I'm at it, I'll pull off these large pieces too, because these can sometimes cause some havoc if things go wrong. And so I'll pull them off ahead of time, so that chances of them breaking on you are a lot less. There you go. And then the support on the inside. Alright, so here's what you get. This is a raw one. You get all these little pieces right here that all come off that are all supports. They're kind of fun to pull off. I'll leave some on so you can have fun pulling them off in your kit. Basically just take a screwdriver and just kind of twist them off. Then you get to the sculpt. Some come off just with your thumbnail, so it's kind of fun pulling them off. Some are little pieces like that you have to sand off, so just be careful. And look how you can kind of see the roughness on here. When I have a complete one, I cover it with resin, and that gives it a nice smooth look. So you can see the difference between the kit and the completed one. The completed one is very smooth looking. So you can see the kind of the comparing the difference right here. So here's the kit. Here's the completed one. So you can kind of see the difference, how one's kind of rough. And even on the doors you can see the difference too. See, so here's the completed one here, and then here's one that's not completed. You can see it really in the rivets. And again, I add resin to all the rivets to fix them. Just when you get your kit, you'll have to do some sanding and some resin coating if you want, or thick paint or something. And you can see the same thing on the top. Here's the completed one, and here is the unfinished one. So again, you may have to do some sanding, some hole filling with some resin or thick paint, and then you're done. So there you go. So that is the difference. So again, and this is known as a raw one, and the raw one's half the price of the completed one. And the raw one, it takes me about 2 weeks to make one, and the completed one, I found out, takes you about a month and a half. So if you do get these from me, when you contact me on Facebook, just be aware that there's a list, and that you'll be put on the list. And then from the time that your print starts, it will be either 2 weeks for a raw one, or about a month and a half for a completed one. I thought I could do them faster, but it's just too much trying to do all the resin and work it into my schedule, everything else I'm doing. So that's why the completed ones take so long to do. Alright, so like and subscribe, tell your friends, and if you do want one of these dungeons, contact me on Facebook. The easiest way to get one is the raw ones, like I was saying. Then just finish the work yourself, basically sweat equity in your dungeon. It's just so much fun to peel off. I know, I should leave some for you. And for those two guys that already ordered, these are your two. This is your raw one for the Facebook guy, and this is your completed one for the He-Man.org guy. Alright, thanks you guys. Bye now.